The sea was never just water to medieval Norwegians. It was a living corridor of survival, a cold and endless pantry stretching beyond the horizon. In a country where farmland was thin and winters could last half the year, the ocean became both hunting ground and lifeline. Out of its rolling gray swells came not gold or spices, but something far humbler: fish, dried hard as wood, yet strong enough to feed a nation and fuel a global trade. Long before oil rigs dotted the North Sea or cruise ships hugged the fjords, thousands of wooden racks rose from the shores, hung with stiff white silhouettes swaying like ghostly banners in the wind. This was stockfish, the dried cod of Norway, and for centuries it was not just food, but survival itself. Imagine stepping ashore in the 13th century near Lofoten or Bergen. The air smells of salt and smoke, but above all of drying fish sharp, earthy, and almost metallic. Lines of fishermen haul their catch from open boats, splitting cod with quick strokes, their knives flashing silver in the dim winter sun. They hang the gutted bodies on wooden frameworks taller than a house, where Arctic winds whistle through the rows. The racks creak and sway, but the fish dry silently, stiffening into planks of protein that can outlast whole seasons. This is not a luxury food. It is a food of necessity forged by climate, geography, and ingenuity into something nearly indestructible. Norway's coastline stretches like a long, jagged scar between sea and mountains. Inland, soils are thin and rocky, the growing season painfully short. Grain harvests can fail, and livestock feed is limited, yet the waters teem with cod, especially in winter when enormous schools push close to shore to spawn. It is a migration so reliable that communities shape their entire calendar around it. Men risk their lives in small open boats to haul in this winter bounty. Women and children join in the processing, cleaning and hanging thousands of fish before the thaw. It's a labor rhythm older than memory. The sea gives, the wind preserves, the people survive. Unlike most of medieval Europe, Norway doesn't have abundant salt mines or cheap imports of salt to preserve fish, but it has something else: long stretches of cold, dry air and relentless wind. Where southern fishermen must pack their catch in barrels of expensive salt, Norwegians simply let the climate do the work. Over weeks and months, moisture leaves the flesh, bacteria die, and what remains is a dense, clean slab of protein that can last for years. No barrels, no brine, no spoilage. Nature itself becomes the freezer and the smokehouse combined. In an age before refrigeration, that is as revolutionary as it sounds. By the time spring sunlight stretches the days long again, the cod hanging on the racks has become as hard as timber. A single blow with a hammer can crack it. Only soaking or pounding can make it pliable enough to eat. But that toughness is its secret power. It means the fish can be carried on sleds, stored in barns, stacked in monasteries, or shipped across the sea without fear of rot. In villages where fresh meat is rare and grain is precious, this stockfish is the one dependable constant, ready to feed a family in February as surely as in October. When a harvest fails or snow cuts off travel, dried fish waits silently in the loft, a guardian against hunger. To eat it, medieval Norwegians treat it with the respect of something hard-earned. They soak it in water for hours, sometimes days, pounding the fibers with mallets to soften them. Butter, or herbs can bring back some flavor, but no one mistakes it for a feast. It is simple, filling, and strong, the kind of meal that powers men through frozen fields and fishermen across stormy seas. And yet, over time, it becomes more than fuel. It becomes ritual. Generations repeat the same movements, the same recipes, the same prayers over the same dried cod. A food eaten so steadily across centuries becomes part of identity itself. Religion strengthens this bond. In Catholic Europe, Fridays and Lent are meatless days. People must eat fish instead, and dried cod fits perfectly. It keeps indefinitely, ships easily, and counts as fish under church law even on the strictest fasting days. Monasteries in Norway become major hubs of stockfish storage and consumption, stacking it high in their cellars. Pilgrims eat it on the road. Peasants eat it on holy days. The rhythms of Christianity, fasting, feasting, penance, merge with the rhythms of Norway's climate and coastline, amplifying the role of dried fish beyond mere sustenance. It becomes a food of devotion as well as survival. By the High Middle Ages, stockfish is no longer just Norway's lifeline. It's an export empire. Merchant ships sail from Bergen and other ports carrying bundles of stiff cod to England, Germany, and the Low Countries. The Hanseatic League, that powerful commercial network linking Northern Europe, relies heavily on Norwegian dried fish as a staple of its trade. In exchange come grain, beer, cloth, and silver, enriching both fishermen and the Norwegian crown. Taxes on stockfish fill royal coffers. Local markets boom. Coastal towns transform into cosmopolitan trade hubs, where German merchants rub shoulders with Norwegian boatmen and sailors from across the North Sea. What began as survival food now underwrites a nation's wealth. For coastal families, this trade is more than profit, it's participation in a larger world. Fishing seasons dictate the rhythm of their lives. Men venture out in freezing winds, risking storms and icy decks. Women manage drying racks, barter in markets, and tend the farms in their husband's absence. Children grow up learning the smell of cod, the texture of drying skin, the sound of the wind through racks of fish. Techniques pass from father to son, mother to daughter, binding communities together in knowledge and labor. Local laws evolve to protect fishing grounds and ensure fair trade, further embedding stockfish into the nation's structure. Nutritionally, dried fish delivers exactly what medieval Norwegians need. It is rich in protein and low in fat, offering sustained energy for lives of relentless outdoor work. Farmers eat it during planting and harvest, when every calorie must stretch. Fishermen take it to sea as a guaranteed meal when fresh provisions spoil. Its density makes it easy to transport and store in an age when mobility means survival. In a world without modern medicine, that steady protein can mean the difference between resilience and collapse in the face of cold, disease, and toil. Even culturally, chewing through a piece of tough dried cod echoes the same endurance required to weather a northern winter. Nutrition and symbolism merge. The food mirrors the people who rely on it. Over centuries, stockfish becomes woven into the fabric of Norwegian life. Festivals marking the end of winter feature dried cod as a centerpiece, a reminder of the months it carried them through scarcity. The act of pounding and soaking the fish before meals becomes part of daily ritual, linking grandparents and grandchildren in the same tactile routine. Villages celebrate their fishing seasons with communal feasts where dried fish appears not as a poor man's meal, but as a proud marker of identity, the taste of survival turned into tradition. Even the outside world takes notice. In Italy, imported stockfish evolves into cherished regional dishes still cooked today. In England and Germany, it supplements local diets during fasting periods, but nowhere does it carry the same existential weight as in Norway. For Southern Europeans, it's a trade good, a curiosity from the north. For Norwegians, it's life itself, the thread between hunger and survival through long dark winters. This contrast reveals how geography shapes dependency. Fertile fields in Central Europe produce grain, fruits, and livestock. Sunlit southern coasts produce olives and wine. But rocky Norwegian soil and short summers leave only the sea to provide abundance. Dried fish becomes not just one food among many, but the structural pillar of society. Behind the statistics of trade and the romance of the sea stand countless ordinary people.